Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Karpo Gaming and another Path of Exile 2 video. Well, we have the huge new update. We know what's coming. 0.1 OE. This is the patch notes. You know what to do. Lay out! Once again, thanks for watching everybody. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. You see it right here. Patch 0.1.e is deployed. I'll leave a link down below. But let's just jump right into it because, oh boy, does it change a lot. Now, it's just been over a week since the game has launched, and now we have some amazing things happening. Start off with gameplay features. They like to mention last week they added the capacity to fast travel between checkpoints within the area, and now it is here, my dude. And they also are making passive point respecting cheaper, especially at higher levels. So that is in here as well. This should generally result in approximately 40-15% less gold cost for respecting between the start and the middle of in-game progression. Kudos to the team. Now, for the trials of schemas, probably not pronouncing that right, but hey, players were finding the trials particularly frustrating. I didn't think it was that hard in close range, so they reworked on how honor damage scales when in close range, as well as fixing an important bug when causing players to take far too much honor damage from a damage over time. Alright, now the honor damage now scale based on distance to enemies. When in close range, you'll take 35% less honor damage, tapering off as you're further away from monsters. Fixed a bug also where damage over time was dealing thrice, that's right, thrice as much damage to honor as intended, and fixing a bug where honor resistance were only applying to 2/3 of that damage. This was confusing for them as well. Moving on, the Skitter Golems no longer use basic attack and instead now just use explode, and Serpent Clan's burrow and ambush attack now has improved visual targeting and cannot be used from as far away. And volcanoes created by rattle cages fissure slams now last half the duration. Next up, we have in-game and monster balance. Now, generally, the balance in in-game maps were more punishing than they intended, so they've toned down damage in a number of ways and disabled a certain on-death effect where the telegraphing was not as clear as should have been. These are the changes. Maps no longer have additional elemental resistance penalties inherently applied at tier 6 and tier 11 on higher maps. It is now consistent across all of the in-game. Chaos damage also now scales less aggressively over the in-game. Critical strikes from monsters now deal 40% less bonus damage. Lowered the baseline monster density of breach encounters, primarily by reducing the frequency of the elite monsters appearing. Disable the volatile crystal modifier while you visit this in the future, pending telegraphing improvements, so they'll be back again for that one. Purple explosive created by the volatile plant modifier on rare monsters now did significantly less damage, and they did hit like a tank. The siphoning flash charges modifiers on monsters now drain 10 times, that's right, 10 times less flash charges per second. This was unintentionally draining way too many charges, and these changes should be generally result in an in-game that is much more survivable than before, and they will continue to address problematic cases as they arise. Moving on, we have character and item balance. Now, they made charms modifiers on belts substantially more common and now appear at much lower levels. The of symbolism modifier now appears from level 23 onwards, and the inscription modifier now appears from level 64 onwards. Electrocute is now 25% harder to build up, but the damage penalty has been removed from the support gem. Added a new lightning damage and electrocute cluster to the passive tree in between the ranger and monks section, so look out for that. And also, it is now more difficult to change freeze enemies by reducing the amount of freeze buildup applied after a freeze has been applied. The Hunter Talisman notable now grants +1 charm slot. The small passive skill leading up to it now grant the stat it formerly gave. The charm helper text has been updated to indicate that you cannot have more than 3 charm slot unlocked, so that you can add more sources of it in the future. Next up, we have skills and support gem balance. Now, since launch, they've unfortunately had to nerf a few skills that was far too overpowered, and they define overpowered as basically a situation in which a certain skill is so powerful that players feel no need to method of playing the game is viable. Generally speaking, they are trying to do this in a way that doesn't make a build bad, but they can make mistakes. Ideally, and truly meta shifting changes will only happen at the same time as content patches and when new leagues play in. But that doesn't mean that they haven't been looking at underpowered skills and support gems. They made a number of changes planned which should improve some of these skills. Full list of changes are here, and this is what we're getting. Improved to rolling slam and shield skills in the mace section. Improvement to variation in both skills, especially the skills used to generally frenzy charges. Improvement to bone skills and chaos damage and time spells in the occult section. Improvement to various crossbow skills, especially those at higher tills. And improvement of some of the underachieving quarterstaff abilities. Now, alongside all of these skill gem improvements, they also done a pass over the support gems. They added 2 new supports and removed or lessened the penalties of many others, notably the fire, lightning, and cold exposure supports. They added Tremors support gem, which can be used to give up multiple more aftershock the skill with a damage penalty, and added the bidding support gem, which can be used to give more damage to the command skill of support minions. The fire exposure, lightning exposure, and cold exposure support gems no longer penalize damage of supported skills. They now have a mana cost multiplier of 120%. Now, there are some notable nerfs to a few of remaining overachieving skills. Here we go. Alright, first off, skeletal arsonists. Alright, so you witches out there. The spirit cost now match the other 2 skeleton mages. This should result in a slight decrease in the number of arsonists at a higher level. Alright, now a nerf to the damage over time component on very high levels of tornado and vine arrow. Now, these were never intended to be dealing damage themselves, but more so act in a way for other skills to propagate damage. Right? And magnetic salvo can now only use your stuck lightning arrows as opposed to those created by your party members. And they basically are winding down and want to say thank you for everybody for a successful launch so far. So boom, there you have it. Huge new update, my dude. A lot of changes in the game for sure. Some good, a couple nerfs, but that's cool. It's for the better for the community. But for right now, that's pretty much going to for this one. I hope you truly enjoyed it. As always, if you're new to the channel, how you doing? And welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. Right here at Karpo Game, upload a wide variety of videos. So once again, thanks for watching. And as always, I'll be seeing y'all in the next one. Later.